Hello. Well, as you can see, the title of this presentation is Laughing with Bipolar Disorder, or BPD for short. And I realize this is a rather unusual way of talking about bipolar disorder, but I'm going to have a go at it anyway. And the purpose of my talk really is threefold. First of all, it's to pass on information about BPD and raise its profile in a way that is not normally the way that it is raised, and also to share my personal experience of it for myself and on behalf of all those who are unable to share their own experience of BPD, and of course to have fun and raise people's spirits about mental illness. So quite an ambitious agenda, but I'm going to go for it anyway. So these are the little giggles that I will go through. I call them giggles because they amuse me, and I'll come back to them, but you can see that there's a list of 8 of them, if I can count correctly. To me, any experience can lead valuable lessons for whoever is willing to learn. And for all of us human beings, those lessons are easier to internalize or to digest, if you will, when they come wrapped up in humor, which is why I tend to giggle at these things and look at them in a lighter way, even if the points that I make are actually serious points. And for me, these giggles are a small selection of the funny little lessons I've learnt throughout the last 5 years. And I find them funny because they take me by surprise. They turn me upside down and inside out, often flipping what first appears to be true, and that appeals to my sense of humor. Now, surprisingly, my most powerful ally in giving this short presentation is my illness itself. As I came to realize that I am not my illness and it is not me, I think the most helpful decision I ever took was to give my very own BPD a name, and that's Batty. Look at her, isn't she wonderful? And Batty's a she simply because I'm a she. She's Batty because she hits me with the force of a baseball bat. She likes the night time. She's not always welcome. And let's face it, she's a little crazy. And my son also reliably informs me that Batty for the younger generation and in Afro-Caribbean culture means a backside, except in more vulgar terms. And I think that's even more appropriate because the great danger with any mental illness is that you can disappear where the sun don't shine. So Batty she is, and Batty really is the one who really knows about bipolar disorder. And she's also the one who guards against my letting myself slip towards and into self-pity. Batty's clever, I've discovered, and she's funny. She has a very funny sense of humor. And incredible as it seems to me, I have come to like her a great deal, and I enjoy working and laughing with her. So over the last 5 years, really this is the sort of trajectory, if you will, and the sort of landscape that Batty and I have travelled together. Now, bipolar disorder is a mental illness. That won't surprise you. Bipolar disorder is also known as manic depression, and it's generally described as being a severe mood disorder that causes unusual shifts or extreme shifts in a person's mood, energy, and ability to function. Frankly, the mood bit is not my experience of bipolar disorder. In fact, interestingly enough, I have to be really well already for me to have fluctuating moods. I really experience bipolar disorder first and foremost as an energy and ability to function fluctuation, so to speak. Now, to talk about unusual shifts or even extreme shifts in a person's moods or in a person's energy doesn't even quite cut it for me. You know, it's a bit like saying that Pompeii was a town with a bit of a mud problem. I mean, it was completely eradicated by a mudslide, or rather a volcanic eruption slide, same thing really. So the order of magnitude isn't captured in the medical language. In short, if you want to put it in simple terms, bipolar disorder is an amplifier. If it were an electric guitar amp, you know, remember Spinal Tap and their amp with a number 11 on it, then it would have a dial that goes up to about 35. It amplifies enormously all the normal humans' emotions that we all experience to reach extreme and often dangerous peaks. So depression with bipolar disorder is clinical depression on steroids. It is so powerful. It's completely overwhelming. And mania with bipolar disorder is agitation running on rocket fuel. So bipolar disorder by its very nature stretches the boundaries of human experience, and as such it can also expand the sufferer's consciousness. As an amplifier, bipolar disorder cannot be silenced, but it can be quietened so that the sufferer can function at least some of the time and life becomes more bearable. And that's where the medication really comes in. When I say that bipolar disorder stretches the boundaries of the sufferer's consciousness, it's inevitable in the same way as we say travel broadens the minds. And believe you me, the sort of travel that you do within yourself when you are in bipolar and severe bipolar territory certainly broadens your consciousness. Now, the interesting thing about this amplifier, which can have, you know, different levels of amplification, different people, is that it's also a magnifier. And what I mean by that is that it shows up all the little nooks and crannies of the sufferer's personality, thinking patterns, behavior, habits, etc. So not only does bipolar disorder manifest in different amplifications for different people, but because it's also a magnifier, it manifests very differently, even among people who have been given exactly the same bipolar diagnosis. It is an illness, therefore, with some universal symptoms, but that is also profoundly personal, and because of it, BPD is also a great opportunity to raise our own self-awareness. So that's really, if you like, a quick portrait of bipolar disorder in non-medical language. Now, let's face it, a highly complex illness cannot be simplified. Why do I say that